Of an ongoing debate roiling Turning Point USA and the supporters of the late Charlie Kirk. Conservative podcaster Candace Owens has spent weeks alleging that in the days before his death, Kirk had grown disillusioned with pro-Israel donors who were upset with his links to Tucker Carlson. She shared a text message thread to that effect, and in it, Kirk says he has, quote, no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Kirk's best friend and producer confirming the texts are real.
I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. The reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange.
Owens claims Kirk had been under immense pressure and had recently changed his views on Israel.
Charlie Kirk's perspective on Israel was not starting to shift. It had shifted entirely, okay? There are no ifs and there are no ands and there are no buts about it. Israel knew that. Turning Point USA knew that because Charlie was explicit.
So this is a significant moment for a movement revealed to be deeply divided on Israel, along with ongoing criticism of anti-Semitism. Tal Axelrod with Axios joins the group chat, and I'm bringing you back because the last time we talked, I was like, what's going on, right? And I think people were looking at Candace Owens in particular, who obviously was grieving, but was very fiery on this issue. And it helped spawn a whole world of conspiracy theories that at a certain point Netanyahu himself came out to rebut any sort of visions that somehow Israel was involved in Kirk's death. How has this moved forward since then? Like, what's significant about this moment?
Well, we just see a bunch more conspiracy theories. It's really gaining traction online that somehow there was some kind of Israeli involvement here. And Candace is walking a fine line. She's saying, She insists, I never said Israel killed him, but this, quote, betrayal will have, quote, international consequences, the betrayal that Charlie Kirk supposedly suffered. So it's really just taking off that there's some foul play here on an international scale. And as time goes on, this is really just a magnet for more and more conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but it's also a real conversation about what is the position on the right, or this part of the right, on Israel itself and the war in Gaza. I want to play for you more from Kirk's producer, who tried to clarify what he believes that the late activist's stance was.
What is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months, and it's probably somewhere between the Bibi letter and the text.
I don't even think there's a between about it. I think those are entirely consistent with the exact same worldview. Yes. Charlie was not hiding things from people.
To be aligned with Trump right now, as we talked about this, even in this moment today, is to be supportive of Israel. And how has this conversation complicated that story on the right?
Well, there's this huge divide, and it's especially generational. You have especially older people in the MAGA movement who take a more traditional view on Israel. Republicans should be supportive. And then you have younger people who believe Israel is an ally, kind of like European countries or Ukraine, that kind of, take advantage of America's largesse. And why do we send Israel billions of dollars in money that could be spent here? So it really does, kind of this whole conspiracy theory, take it up an extra few notches, but there's a deeper ideological conversation here.
Francesca, is this something that the White House wants to just stay away from? I mean, they've been trying to hug Turning Point USA closer, right? Obviously, everyone had relationships with this organization, but what direction is this headed in?
A number of Turning Point folks there yesterday for the president's Antifa roundtable. When it comes to the ideological divide, part of the debate is going on is about Benjamin Netanyahu's handling of the war. So it's not just about what Israel is or isn't doing. It's about how Netanyahu has approached these various ceasefires and peace agreements.
But within the world, they had accused Candace Owens of anti-Semitism. That has also been levied at Tucker Carlson. We saw him fight with, was it Senator Ted Cruz? That time in that conversation.
Sure, so you do that, but to the broader debate and the views right now between MAGA Republicans who are also supportive of President Donald Trump, but to your point, some of which are saying that they don't like the way that Netanyahu has handled the war. They don't necessarily agree with the ground invasion, for instance, of Gaza City. what I was going to say is that you're also seeing some of these debates play out on the left as well, with people saying,
starting
I'm supportive.
to. That's where it
I'm
started
saying,
last
yes,
year.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
We're saying I am supportive of Israel, but I don't support the handling of the war.
Yeah, after all that activism around it, right, around that issue, it's interesting to see it play out in this corner of the politics.
And that is very much what Turning Point is saying Charlie believed. They were saying he wasn't making some kind of fundamental anti-Israel shift. He was just frustrated with what was considered permissible rhetoric, especially by donors, about what you could say about the war and about Netanyahu specifically. Whereas some other people like Candace are saying he was making this more fundamental ideological shift. And Turning Point is saying that was very much not happening.
Do we know where Turning Point is headed right now?
I think they're still figuring it out, but Erica Kirk is going to be leading the way. And I think they're continuing to report a bunch of new chapters being set up at colleges and high school campuses across the country. So obviously they're in grieving mode, but I think they have, moving forward, a lot of public goodwill and some big plans ahead.
Yeah, with all these folks, we're talking about massive audiences online. So there's a lot at stake here. Tel, thanks so much for explaining it. Next